Okay, this is a bit of a question and somewhat of an answer. Anybody else tired of people giving their opinion what the forefathers meant when they wrote the Constitution? The letter of the law requires what was written be done word for word to the letter. To quote Martin Luther King, all we ask is you be true to what you put on paper. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all are created equal. They are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Amongst these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. As a man, I've been waiting a lifetime for this to happen. As a country, I think the same can be said. In a nation of laws, why is this not happening? End the hate, stand up for the rule of law, and the conspiracy against rights under the color of law. We the people hold you to the oath you took. We the people send a strong reminder violating your oath is a federal crime, 5 U.S. 7311 and Executive Order 10450, punishable by removal from office, prison, and fines. People are the rightful masters of both Congress and courts, not to overthrow the Constitution, but to overthrow the men who pervert it. Stop giving your opinions on what the forefathers meant. Stick to the law, the letter of the law. Live up to the oath. Live up to the oath you took. You cannot take an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution, come into office, and pervert that Constitution. You literally decimate, desecrate, and defecate on the Constitution with this constitutional crisis. And the constitutional crisis is no more than one branch of government exceeding their authority, knowingly and willingly exceeding their authority. That's unconstitutional. That's all I've been trying to do. If you look at my videos, my posts, the places I post this on the net. This is all I've been trying to do, and teaching you as many laws as I possibly can. Because when you enter a court of law, there's no way you're going to win unless you have the reasonable knowledge to make an informed decision, to give informed consent. And the only way you can give that informed consent is to know what I know, what every lawyer and judge knows. And that's the law. You literally need the legal education of the learned professionals in a court of law in order to achieve effective assistance of counsel, to get a fair trial, to get due process. And that's what I'm trying to teach you. And the only way I can teach you is if you read what I read. Okay, I posted all over the internet. Okay, a whole lot of laws that you aren't being spoken to about. A lot of laws that aren't being enforced. A lot of laws that are the constitutional obligations, the constitutional duties of all public servants. And I'm showing you everything they're not doing. Okay, I don't need your likes. I'm what's known as an introvert. I grew up being called a recluse. Some people called me a hermit, but that's because I spent so much time in books. You know, my time's coming to an end. I'm old. And before I go, I'd like to see this happen. For the first time in history, in the first constitutional republic, that every law matters, especially the laws that require removal from office, prison, and fines. Why is nobody enforcing that? Well, it's because they're public servants. People think the code of silence starts on the streets with the police, or that's true, that's where it starts. But it ends with the U.S. Supreme Court. It is us against them, us against our public servants. They all think they're above the law. You know it, and I know it, and it's no secret. So this is what I'm giving you. All the laws that you can possibly use against them and the remedies for these violations. This is what legal reform is about. The legal reform you need is the education of a learned, seasoned professional in order to get due process. Okay, and we can change that together. All we got to do is start talking about the public trust doctrine. All right, you should read that, research that. If this makes any sense to you, it'll make a lot more sense to you when you read it yourself. You're not a patriot if you're not standing up for this. In a constitutional republic, this is the Constitution. This is what everybody took an oath to uphold and defend in public service. Our politicians, lawyers, judges, the military, the police, doctors, nurses, the education system. Everything in the public trust doctrine must take the oath, must abide by the oath. Failure to do so is removal from office, prison, and fines. Remind them. Let them not forget. Nothing but love for you. I truly wish you nothing less than a long life and good health. And if you read the public trust doctrine, you would find that, the medical system was in the public trust doctrine, but way back when, shortly before I was born, your public servants started selling off the public trust, medical, education system. College used to be for free. You only had to pay room and board. That's when the counter-culture movement started. And they were educating themselves. And some of them knew what I know. It was before I knew it. And now I know what I know, and I'm doing my best to share with you everything that I possibly can. Take advantage of my disadvantage. I had to dig through this using the Dewey Decimal System. Now you have the simplicity of the net, the World Wide Web. Bless you one and all. May the Creator rain many blessings.